next pattern we're going into is a corkscrew, where man goes under 1, 2, he's going to duck, step sideways on the count of 3, and step on the count of 5. Wobble precariously back and forth. Now he's going to take the right hand over the lady's head and take the left hand down, 1, 2, to the lady's armpit, and then ask the lady to duck on 3, 5. And again, the man hooking behind as the lady brings her feet together. Going back the other direction, noticing that the man is passed, lady spiraled up, man going underneath, 1, 2, man going sideways as the lady went forward, man going forward and is on the left side of the lady's body as the lady is turned to face the man on the count of 5. Giving the lady an outside turn with the man's right hand, 1, dropping the hand to the armpit, lady still not ducking until the count of 3. And then the man hooks behind on 5, getting past. It's very important now that you're going to notice that the man is allowing the lady, or restricting the lady, to step together. That as he's coming across from this last turn, he's behind, he's got to catch up. On this pattern, as she's done her pivot, he's going to use his right hand, this right hand, with the lady's right hand on her stomach to restrict her movement. So if she was to try and move, he would be holding her with that hand so that he can get her to step together as he passes her. And that's going to be what allows him to get past for the next position. Going through man 1, 2, 3, 5. Men are going to go through their duck, and they're going to be ducking very flat with their back flat, almost concave. The key thing is that ladies are going to have a tendency to walk around. And if the ladies walk around, the man's part is going to be almost impossible. We teach lariats and corkscrews, assuming that the lady is going to go straight down a line, traveling, using a lot of body flight, moving. 1, 2, 3, so the man can duck straight sideways, 3, and then up 5. And as he goes through, that if he's got a brim especially, if he's got a brim, that he doesn't have his head down, that he actually has his head up. And the higher that the man has the hand up the back versus lower, the lower that the man has his hand on the back, the less hand that the woman can give the man. So if he's got his hand higher up, the lady can be farther away. And then up to a 5.
It's also important, ladies, that you pay attention to the hat as you're working around it. This is one of the places that instead of spotting down line or in some other direction, you want to be looking at the hat and making sure that you're working around it carefully. Also, as the arm, as your elbow comes across the hat, both yourself and the man want to make sure that you allow the hands to rotate such that the inside part of the elbow is down towards the head, towards the hat, and not vice versa.
As man's ducks, he's going to find it most comfortable to take the hand to his armpit and then come up with his arm and elbow around. If he doesn't bring his arm up, he's going to end up getting the lady caught. So he's got to make sure that he envisions that this hand that the lady has stays in midair and he does not affect it. The entire time he's going to have to come around such that the lady is not affected at all. All that's going to happen is that she's going to rotate her hand so that the elbow is up so she accommodates the hat. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Now we're going to the ladies. Gives an outside turn, tuck to the armpit on 2. Now all the lady's doing is she's doing a rotation and ducking on the count of 3, stepping through 5. Now we've done that quite a few times, that pattern, and we're going to come out, and when we come out, we're going to come out with the man not crossing behind, not getting up past, but just staying beside and stepping through on the count of 5. So if we've just come up from the man's duck, we're going through 1, 2, 3, 5. The man's coming up from beside the lady and ending with his weight on his right foot and lady's weight on her left foot. And the importance of that is the next pattern that we're going into is going to require a foot change for the man to get on the same footwork for the next few upcoming patterns. Before we go on to the next pattern, I'd like to demonstrate that corkscrew pattern at the camera. Man's past the lady, lady's traveling down line of dance, making sure that the lady's traveling straight down line of dance, not dancing around. You'll notice that Resa's on one track and I'm going across, ducking and then coming back. You'll also realize that my back is very flat, my head is up, my hand is up very high on my back, and you also notice that I'm ducking my head from the right side across and up to the left side, above and beyond the footwork that's taking me from the right side to the left side.
Men, also remember, Cody's mentioned it several times, that you need to position yourself past the woman before you go into this lariat variation. That's critical. You're going across now, and it makes more sense, and it's easier for you to accomplish that starting in front of her instead of starting beside her or behind her. Also, ladies, you need to be aware that as the lead, the man has a responsibility for determining what pattern comes next and also setting that pattern up appropriately. So if he's moving past you, allow him to. You shouldn't be trying to race him and stay up with him. It's his job to position yourselves appropriately for each pattern as it comes up.
Taking the lady's left hand over right, going across, 1, lady's going straight forward, man's going across, 1, man going sideways, lady passing. You can see on the count of 2 that the lady has already passed. And the more that the lady goes straight down the line, the more that she can be past the man. 1, 2. And then the man is ducking straight down, 3. Now this is where you're going to notice that the man is going from the right to the left with his head, cross. The more that the man is giving with his arm up his back, and of course that's going to be a flexibility thing, the more that the woman can get away from the man's hat or hair. 3, standing up, 5. Now you understand that from this position, as the man's ducking and the woman's already onto her 5, that as the man's stepping up onto his 5, that his elbow is hooked. And he's having to bring his elbow around so that it unhooks from the lady's elbow and then steps forward onto his 5. One more time from the 3. 3, man goes across, stands up, and unhooks that elbow. And a very important thing, guys, is if you catch that elbow, she's going to be thinking about some of the other possible variations that she could go into that would have the lead preceding pattern being the hook on the elbow. So if you catch the elbow, she might, if she knows a variety of patterns, be thinking something else. And of course, the woman shouldn't be thinking, she should be trying to follow, but that could be a very wonderful signal for another pattern that she doesn't know whether you know or not, or whether you're going to lead. So you've got to be very clear and very concise about getting up and not touching that elbow, making sure it stays away, coming up, grabbing, and then going into her pattern. 1, 2, and you notice that I'm going to the elbow, and then making her duck on the count of 3, and then stepping together on the count of 5 as I'm passing. And again, this is my opportunity to get past and go through again. 1, 2, 3, I duck, 5. Now I don't have a hat on, so the easiest position for me to be in is for me to duck my head straight, if I don't have a hat. If I have a hat on, you can imagine that my brim would be poking up, and so I want to have my head up so that the brim lays flat on my back. And I want my back as flat as possible, and arched if I can, so that my head can be the same height as my backside.
Again, depending upon your own personal flexibility.
No. Make them all do this. Okay, next pattern, going from the corkscrews, is going to be the man standing up and giving the lady one more duck. But like I said before, what he's not going to do is he's not going to get past and hook behind. He's going to stay right beside, and he's going to step straight forward on the count of 3 and straight forward on the count of 5. And the lady's passing her foot on this 5. Now at this point in time, we're going to do a foot change for the man. Lady's going to have exactly the same footwork as she normally would, as the man brings her to a sweetheart position. So as the man gives the lady an inside turn and gives her a sweetheart position, he's going to do 3 slow walking steps, which will equal a lady's basic footwork and will end up being a foot change for the man. 1, 2, man's only done 1 step. A slow count to the lady's 2 steps, quick, quick. And then the lady is going to do slow, slow, and the man's going to join in. Slow, slow.